Hey guys, so John got in contact again and he asked me if I could do a video on shortening and converting arrows. Of course I can. Now I'm gonna start on carbon arrows. Now the reason I'm gonna start on carbon arrows is because it's more or less the same principle, but with wooden arrows it's gonna take a little bit longer. There's a lot more faffing about. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate how to do this. I haven't got the time. I haven't got time to set everything up. But a while ago, Jim Grizzerly Kent did a video for Merlin's Archery Adventures, where he was going through a knock left, knock right video and shortening carbon arrows. So I'm going to leave a link to that video down below if you do need to see it, because I'm just going to talk about it and give you verbal knowledge in what to do. But yeah. Okay, so with the carbon arrows, you pull the inserts out, you pull the tip out. With carbon arrows you need a power saw. Any type of power saw really will do, as long as it's, not your hands. Very simple, an actual power saw will do it. When you're cutting back, go for very small increments, because if you go too far then you've bugged it up. You can always take stuff off. Very, very rarely can you put stuff back on. So I would go 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and that's the same on wooden arrows as well. But yeah, go 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and then put the insert in, put the arrow tip in, shoot, test it, and then see what you need to do. See if you need to take down another 1/2 inch and another 1/2 inch, and rinse and repeat until you get the size, the length that is good for you, that's going to work for you. So that's the easy one. And that's me nearly dropping the arrow. So, wooden arrows. I'm surrounded by wooden arrows at the moment, and I'm looking for very specific ones. But the Timber Creek arrows, they're probably some of the best to do this with, because some arrows will have a pinch on the tip, and effectively that means you're not gonna get that arrow tip off. It's not worth the hassle. But with the Timber Creek ones, they seem okay. I mean, on mine there's no pinch, so it's just down to the diameter of the shaft and adhesive that's keeping the tip on, which is more than enough. But yeah, so in theory it's the same as the carbon arrows, but there is a little more faffing about. Obviously you can't just unscrew a tip from a wooden arrow, so you need to get, very, very safely, a small flame. Now these are bamboo arrows, and this is how it originally came, with a gorgeous arrow tip. Unfortunately this arrow tip I can't shoot at a club, and if I shoot at my targets it's just going to destroy them. And a good target costs you at least £50, so I'm not gonna ruin targets by shooting broad heads into them. But yeah, this is how I took off the tip. I use my cooker, very, very low heats. You don't need a massive fire, you don't need a bonfire. You want to hold it as far away as you can, safety first. And when you put the arrow over the heat of the fire, you want to do your best to only have the tip, only this bit, or this part, in the actual flame or over the flame. Now the goal in for this is you're not trying to set fire to the arrow, you're not trying to burn the whole thing. What you want to do is heat the metal to the point where it expands ever so slightly and you're burning the glue inside. Have a pair of pliers, have something you'll be able to hold on to the metal and not burn yourself with. And when I did it, I had a bowl of cold water to drop the tip in after I'd burnt it off. Now you might not get it right completely if you're going too fast, so slow. I mean, arrows are a very slow, very tedious process, but a good arrow is worth so much. So don't rush it. Don't rush any arrows, whether they're cheap, whether they're expensive. Take your time with it, do it properly. So that's what you need to be doing to get the tip off. It's just slowly, over a very slow, low heat, burning the metal, heating up the metal so that the metal expands ever so slightly, and burning off the glue that's inside. When you've done that, you can pull off the tip, put the tip into some cold water, leave it in cold water while you are preparing the arrow shaft. Now, if you can use a power saw, then that's obviously brilliant. That's the best way to do this. If you are reliant on hand saws and just, the power of your own arms, be very, very careful when you're cutting back 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, because could end up doing something like this. I'm not sure how well you can see that because of all the dirt getting in the way, but this is an arrow that has split from here right down to there. It's not good, and this came about from sawing. It's a hazard, but it's one you can avoid. Even if you are going to do it by hand, make sure that this part of the arrow is secure, and whatever you have protecting it and keeping this arrow in place, make sure it's as close to the line as you can possibly get to minimize the risk of you just splitting down the arrow. Because well, with this I'm left with two choices. Either it goes to the bin, which it probably will do now, or you end up cutting down a massive chunk, which could be too much. Yeah, but that's something to be careful for. Be very, very wary of. But yeah, let's pretend that you're going to nail it, because I have all the faith in the world in you. You can do it. And you're cutting down. You've gone 1/2 inch. So you now need to... this is the annoying bit. You now need to file what you've cut down. Because if you look at the arrow shaft, it doesn't get thicker when it gets to the tip. So underneath this tip is a filed arrow shaft. It's been filed down so that the tip can fit very snugly over the top. So it's just one of those things you've got to go slow, you've got to have patience with, bit by bit by bit by bit, till you can actually put the arrow tip back on. Now, when it comes to testing, there's no point gluing the arrow tip in, because you're just going to have to burn it again, pull it off if it's not right. So it's just really, there's no point doing that. But what you should be doing when you test it is shooting at a very soft target. So I've got an old futon in the garden, which works out really nicely, because if I end up pulling the arrow out and the tip is still in the target, in the futon, then it's very easy for me to just get in and pull the arrow tip out. Whereas if you've got something like the My Bow straitjacket, brilliant target, fantastic target, but I've got at least 3 arrowheads in that target that I can't get out. So, you know, pick something very soft, you know, an old jumper wrapped up, just something that you'll be able to pull the arrowhead out if it does get stuck. Now, once you've tested it and you've shot in, you're going to see if it's knock left or knock right, or, you know, if it's just not right. Because when you shoot an arrow, you don't want it to be like this. That is just too much. You don't want it to be over there either. It needs to be pretty much like that. So target's back here, it's fairly centered, good straight shot. If it's not, then you're going to have to take it out, take the tip off, cut back another 1/2 inch, file it down, put the tip back on, test, rinse, repeat until you do get the size right, till you do get the length right. Once you've got that, you've already got it filed down, so get yourself some really good glues, a really good adhesive glue. It's really cheap nowadays to get a really good glue. I mean, I've got a massive pot here somewhere, and I think that cost me £2, maybe £3. So, you know, it's worth the investment. But dip the arrow shaft into the glue, get a nice, thick, generous layer, pull it out, fix the tip onto the arrow shaft, and when you're satisfied that the tip's on as far as it will go, lean it upright like this against the wall, against the door, against whatever, so that it can dry. And when it does dry, the glue will head down towards the tip. Now, this is a good thing. This is a very good thing, because there will be air pockets, there will be little gaps that you can't see, but if the glue's going down towards the arrowhead, towards the arrow tip, the glue will find these pockets and it will fill it up, and that will just, excuse me, it will make the arrow tip, the arrowhead, stay on for much longer, and it's a better fit. And then when it is all done, just get a cloth and clean it up. So yeah, when it comes down to wooden arrows, I would recommend getting one of the batch and going bit by bit by bit. And then when you found the length that you want to, and the length that's good for you, that's good for your arrows, that's good for the spine, poundage and everything else, then just mark that size against all the other arrows, because you know, Timber Creek arrows, it's going to be the same. They're going to shoot the same. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, there may be things that I've left out. Again, I've finished a night shift and I've done this with very little sleep. But yeah, that's the basic principles of it. And as I said at the start, I will leave a link to Grizzerly Jim doing this on the carbon arrows. It also covers knock left and knock right, which is a minefield when you're starting off, but it is good information, and he's a very knowledgeable archer. So I hope that helped, John. Any other questions, any other video wants, feel free to leave a comment and let me know. I will leave my Twitter down below, so you can either contact me there, follow me there, whatever. And if you're interested, I'll even leave my Instagram down below. Bear in mind, I'm one of these people who just posts archery and food. So yeah, I'm one of them. Thanks guys, see you next time.